Yeah, I mean, so you mentioned being an artist. So have you transitioned to we getting back in front of the mic?
Yeah. Yes. During the pandemic, I sat still. You know, when you don't have everything is closed down and you're really just sitting still. I was able to write and produce music, and it started off with one song that I did by the name of Scars. It was my first single, and then after I made that. By not having to leave the house, I was just writing and producing every day. And I found a direction and a sound that I was able to create. And, you know, Black artists doing rock and roll is very rare, especially, and it's crazy because we invented this genre of music.
With Little Richie and but
do it, we excel to, you know, iconic status like Jimi Hendrix, like Chuck Berry, like Little Richard, like Terrence Trent D'Arby, like Prince, like Lenny Kravitz, all these different artists. And here we are in 2022, and we've sort of been segregated from that space other than Gary Clark Jr. And so I just think it's a shame. And I love rock and roll because to me, the R&B and hip hop genre is so oversaturated with artists. I decided to operate in the space of rock and roll. And I think it's so liberating in that space. You can be it's liberation of your sexuality and your fashion and your creative expression and your performance and all these different things that is just different. And I think if more Black artists see people that look like us doing this type of music, I think that they will find the courage to pursue that type of music as well. And so, you know, I just love rock and roll, and I just think that it's a shame that we're not able to express ourselves in that space as much as we used to in the past. So hopefully I can knock down some doors and get the opportunity to do that at a very high level, because when we do, like I say, we knock it out the park.
Yeah, but when you're writing rock and roll, because I know that traditional R&B the theme used to be about love, you know, about relationships and stuff. You have hip hop is very much about money and
Right.
and showing off. Then you have pop, which is really about having fun and stuff. So, but when it comes to rock and roll, what's the direction with the lyrics and what's the story that's being told?
Well, I just think about love and relationships and the complexities of relationships. There's so many different things that happen in a relationship that you can talk about when you're doing rock and roll. Yeah. So, and you're not held to trends when you're doing rock and roll. You don't have to concede to that same cadence that you're seeing on all the R&B records that are out now. You can create your own melodies, and they become timeless melodies, because when you concede to that cadence that everybody is doing, it has a time limit and an expiration date on it. Whereas in rock and roll, the melody can be whatever. They just want a catchy melody, and that can go on in 30 years from now, and it can still be played and still be relevant and not sound dated. So that's the thing I love about it in terms of the melody when you're writing, and in terms of you get to do character when you're doing rock and roll versus always singing. You pick your moments where you want to showcase your vocal ability, but a lot of it is about character and attitude. And I think those things are interesting. And I've seen Prince do that. We've seen Michael do that. You know, all these different artists really express. Even Mick Jagger is character. You know, it's being able to express yourself through character. We've seen it with Pharrell. We've seen it with Andre 3000. So that you can create character, and that's a lot more interesting than just hearing an album just straight singing through it. You have some songs that you do that, but you know, I think your album should take you on a journey. And when you're doing character on one record and singing on another record, it just makes it really interesting to listen to.
Now, does rock and roll have a space now? Because when you think about where sort of the rock and roll band sort of got squeezed out when you had the grunge music that came through, and then since then we we here in England we do have a lot of groups like oh goodness, in my head the names of our sort of our rock groups escape me. I think Franz Ferdinand, oh goodness, we've got Arctic Monkeys.
Rock and roll has a space if we do it, because we express it in a way that nobody else expresses it. You know, we're not going to just do, you know, the traditional sense of rock and roll. We're going to fuse it with R&B. We're going to fuse it with soul. We're going to fuse it with blues. We're going to fuse it with jazz. We're going to fuse it with something. Yeah. And then we're going to fashion to it and the sexuality to it and the performance to it. We're going to bring so many different things to it that makes it very interesting, because I hear a lot of rock and roll, but I don't see, it's not as interesting as when you see Prince do it, you know, and everything that he brings to it and his character, or when Jimmy did it, or when did, or when Terrence Trent D'Arby did it. When all these people were doing a living color, they're bringing so much to it that makes it so interesting that it's bigger than just a song. And right now with the rock stuff, I see it's more about a song. I see most of the artists that are doing it are just older artists that are more in the traditional sense. The younger artists are fusing it, which with my rock and roll, hip hop is my foundation. So that fusion of hip hop is in there. That fusion of R&B is in there. Studying greats like Hendrix and Jimmy Page and people like that, understand, fuse, and Eric Clapton, and fusing that guitar in there and coloring it a bunch of different ways. So it uniquely has your own sound. And so I just, I think that there's a space if you allow us the ability to do it, because Black people, we just create differently than anybody else. It's just a different way to create and express ourselves. You just have to get the opportunity to do that and believe that they're going to support that. And like I said, every time we do it, it's Andre 3000 was different than Pharrell. Pharrell was different than Janelle Monáe. Just when we're doing it, it's all going to be different. Whereas if we're doing hip hop and R&B, we're all trying to do the same sound, vocalists on top of it. Rock and roll, you can color it so many different ways.
But then I think the biggest thing then is for you, as you've come up with your album, it is what's the hope when it comes to finding an outlet and an audience? Because, you know, if you may have the sort of Black community like, oh, this, you know, we're not used to this. I mean, we understood Prince, but that was back in the 80s and stuff. But so how that's a risk that you find as well.
Definitely a risk, but you have to be, if you're a music lover and you're in tune to music, right? I still am in tune to what the younger generation is doing, so I can incorporate elements into that music, whether it's visually, whether it's sonically. I can incorporate certain things in there. You're making your music for a mass audience, and so I know that there's that hip hop beat that may bring Black people in the room. It's that guitar solo that may bring white people into the room. It's chord progressions and changes that may bring people that are real true fans of rock and roll in there. It's that rhythm arrangement that is similar to Chuck Berry or Prince that makes it funky or makes it feel like disco or whatever it is. It brings all those people in the room. So rock, and it may be how you're dressed, that brings the fashion or the gay community into the room. It may be your sexuality that brings the women into the room. So rock and roll, when you're creating it and how we're creating it, it has something for everybody. So it's not segregated to a small audience. It's something that is very pop and mainstream. But
I think I just wanted to be able to wrap up, just to find out, when should we expect your album, and what how can people just find the new music that you're coming up with?
Okay, so you can find me at Fanatic, aka Billy Lennox, on Instagram. The videos of Scars, Electric Sex, and Can't Live Without You are on YouTube. Go check those out. Very provocative, thought-provoking videos. We talk about a lot of things. We use a lot of messaging and imagery in those videos. I think a video is so important that you utilize it to make a statement and let people know so many things about you and what you stand for. So we took that approach with the visuals that we did. So you can find those on YouTube, and we have a lot going on this summer. More videos, more music coming. The album is complete now. We're 14 songs in, and we're going to be releasing more singles, and hopefully we can bring the music abroad and let you guys experience it as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the question that a lot of people ask is that, you know, a long time ago when CDs were the norm, there was a sense of people buy the CDs and the artists make the money. Now, in a way, music is for us, the consumers, it's easier to obtain, and it doesn't seem as if we're doing too much well, if you're on YouTube, we're not really paying for it
Right.
as we're listening for it. As now an artist and even as a songwriter and producer, how have you been able to decide the benefits of releasing music?
Uh, well, one thing that's happened is definitely devalued the music, and it's a strain as an independent artist because though it's so easy to create content, you still have to spend money in terms of having your song mixed, having your song mastered, shooting a music video. Uh, what's so sad about all of this is that when you sit down to make a music video, you know, I come from the era of Michael Jackson music videos and Madonna and Missy Elliott and Janet Jackson, all these big productions. They put a lot of thought and a lot of energy into their videos and their creative process.
Yeah.
And the video now doesn't have the same value that it had as before, as well as the music. When you got an album back in the day, you lived with that album for several weeks and several months, where it was a soundtrack on a daily basis. Now it's so much music coming out. You know, before it was once a week, every Tuesday, the new album. Now people are releasing music every day, and there's so much music coming at you. It doesn't really give you the opportunity to really sit with it and really absorb the entire piece of work in its entirety and really get into the artist. So it's affected that. It's affected the visuals, all of these different things, and you have to spend money on these things.
Yeah.
So music is streaming for free. The videos are streaming for free. The only way the artist makes money is endorsements as well as touring. So it's kind of sad when it comes to touring as well. You know, I don't think it was meant for you to be able to see everybody on tour at the same time. Like, you know, it was possible to see Madonna, The Police, Boy George Michael, Prince, and Michael Jackson all in the same summer because those tickets were so high. But now, you know, you can, everybody stays on tour all the time. And it also takes away from the artist being able to go and experience life and then come back and write about it. You know, you would see a Prince or a Michael Jackson album every few years, a Madonna album every 2 years. So by the time they made the album, went out on tour, and then they went away for a moment, it gave them time to experience something to write about. Yeah. It was different or revamp their image and everything. Now artists are out 24/7. So there's some advantages to it, but there are a lot of disadvantages to it. Hopefully you can find that happy medium in the middle where you can stay. And I express that with everything that I do from an artist standpoint, is finding that happy medium where all of the things that you learned about making music and artistry and artist development that are still relevant, you can incorporate that some of what is going on today. And those that can figure out how to always incorporate the old with the new will always find a place in this industry. And I've been fortunate enough to find that. My phone still rings. People still do music with me. I still wake up passionate about music and a song in my heart, and still feel like I can impact the industry in a way that no other artist is doing it right now. So I look forward to that challenge, and I'm excited about what's to come for Billy Lennox and me as a producer as well.
Okay, so are you still? I mean, even though you now Billy Lennox, is that the stage name?
Yes, that is the name of the band. The band is Billy Lennox. I am Billy Lennox. It's an alter ego to Fanatic, the producer. It's that rock and roll space where I get to be uninhibited and just express myself in a way I had before, you know.
Yeah, and when should we expect to see you touring? I mean, even because we do have Americans who watch in. So, are you doing tours locally in LA and around the States?
Not currently. I just finished the album, so now I'm putting the band together to tour with. I'm working on finding the right members and personalities, because as you know, with putting a band together, you're dealing with so many different personalities everybody on the same page. So I'm looking to put the right members together that can go out and bring the music to life, not only from the musicality standpoint, but personalities and showmanship and star power on stage. When you looked at all of the greats, you know, there is no Rolling Stones without Keith and Mick. There is no without David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen. You know, there is no Outkast without Big Boy and Andre. And so it's just about making sure that you have the right superstars on stage. I look at Prince and the Revolution, and every one of those members was essential to bringing that vision to life. So I bring those same members that are into musicianship, showmanship, fashion, sexuality, all of these things. I'm looking for those right members to put on stage with me that can accompany me in that. So, so just trying to put the band together, learn the music, live with the music, bring it, perform it live, but also I'm doing some film and TV stuff as well that will be mental and releasing that music is also. So big plans for the summer and as well for the fall. So hopefully we will be at a place that we can come to Europe in the fall because gain so much momentum here in the States with the project.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.